Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A real big announcement for ASX based traders, and that is the removal of staggered opens in the morning. So, we finally have a go live date after many months, if not years, of discussion of this change, and it's the go live date of Monday, the 12th of May 2025. So, currently, we still have staggered opens where stocks A to B, then C to F, and then G to M open at different times. But that's all going to change, and all the stocks will open at the exact same time in a randomized window of 15 seconds between 9:59 and 9:59:15. Now that is phase 1. Then there is phase 2 of continuous trading, which happens about 30 seconds later, so from 9:59:45 to 10 a.m. For those of you who don't understand the difference between phase 1 and phase 2, my understanding is from previous discussions on this is that phase 1 will be where there'll be a randomized 15-second window where you can no longer add shares. You can no longer add to the bid or the offer. All you can do in that time is once it hits that randomized time is you can only cancel orders for the next 30 seconds until phase 2 hits in a randomized time of 15 seconds. So I'm not sure if that's the case at the moment. That's my understanding of it. And do keep in mind is that these changes are subject to change as well. So that's interesting. I don't like it because our market's so small. Staggered opens means it's easier to trade the match. However, at the same time, there are going to be more market inefficiencies, which I guess is a net positive because trading inefficient markets is beneficial. So I think moves will last longer rather than everyone focusing on a group A to B, pumping it one way, taking profits real quickly. And I'm not entirely sure if that'll be too significant of a change, but I think momentum will last a little bit longer. I think that's going to be the end result. I'm not quite sure. We'll see how it works, I guess, in the future before really making a judgment how good or bad it is. So we're going to take a look at a few stocks, just some interesting stocks. You know, earnings has been really good lately, so I thought I don't want to talk about earnings. I talk so much about earnings that not that interesting anymore. So we have SLX, which is on a nice little channel here, and it just looks just beautiful. Look at that. Look at that absolutely monstrous bullish channel. So look at this stock somewhere around $3.70, $3.60 to $3.70 if it comes back down. That'll be fantastic. And then we got ASB, which is a shipbuilding company, both commercial and defense, and it's just on an absolute tear. Historically, you can see it's just breaking historical pivots, breaking into new highs. And breaking into new highs is fantastic. There's no historical supply, meaning that generally this blue sky territory I find easier to trade. So, you know, as it breaks, it comes back to retest, and then it's just hopefully going to trend its way up to the $5 magnet, which is just, you know, a nice round number. And hopefully it gets there, you know, within a month or two or so. You never know how long it can stagnate before it moves. So it's just something I'm keeping an eye on, which looks really good. Another thing I am looking at is A1M, which is a small cap. I wouldn't call it a micro, somewhere around 230 mil market cap. That's just a really nice setup. And what we have here is a copper play, a very aggressive copper play. And looking for somewhere in the ballpark of 50 cents would be fantastic. Now, getting the entry, managing the risk, that's going to be key here. Obviously, the risk is below this 38.5 cent level, so maybe somewhere around 37 for a stop out is the most important component for me, is managing that risk. I wouldn't want to be holding this if it dips below 37. It might tickle. If it comes back down, it might tickle 37 and then wick back into range. Not entirely sure, but it's just something worth watching. My plan would be to get a starter position, add on as it comes back down to 30, if it comes back down, I should say, to about 38.5, 39. And then finally an add-on once it breaks, perhaps 42.5, 43, and then take it towards 50 would be sort of a trading idea for me for that one. And the reason is because copper is just bouncing off a pivotal area here. Just really nice longer term trend. It's not so relevant historically, but just more recent, just a nice little pivot point that it keeps respecting. Breaking above 42.60 here would be fantastic, then we'll just have higher highs. As you can see, it's kind of the highs are getting lower and lower and lower, so a nice reversal there would be fantastic to see. Big ifs, of course, again, got to manage and pay attention to COPX, which is the copper ETF, and you know, if it dips below this candle here, then then yeah, I wouldn't be too interested in holding copper stocks, right? Obviously. And of course, AIQ. AI drives a lot of the copper prices as well. I think I discussed the significance of copper and AI. AI's use of electricity, the exponential use of electricity and electricity demands. And of course, copper is the most efficient and cheapest metal or commodity basically to transport electricity. Obviously, I think silver and other things are better conductors of electricity, but copper is the most efficient and the cheapest solution. So, of course, if you guys have heard the news of like Microsoft and stuff buying out nuclear power plants and little micro ones, of course, copper is going to be in big demand. And you'd think because of those sort of power plants coming online for things like companies like Microsoft and Google and stuff like that, that uranium would be launching, but uranium's kind of on the dip, and we'll see how it holds around this sort of $22 level. But then we also have PDN, which is a uranium stock, and it's just absolutely crumbling. This stock never really should have, in my opinion, broke out from this sort of, it broke out to the upside from here. And this was, when it was trading before the split, what was it? It was like 100, it did a split, 1 to 10, 10 to 1 split. So it was trading at about $1 at this point in time, I believe. It's come off quite substantially. And honestly, I'd be surprised if this doesn't just completely sink. In my opinion, there's no guarantees or anything like that. But I've done the math on the numbers for PDN, and it really should never have even gotten to this sort of $1 level, which is now a $10 level. And seeing it sink is just so satisfying because it's, just look at the numbers. Honestly, go look at the financials. Go look at the amount of ore they have. Go look at the pricing for the ore that they're expecting, and it's just crazy, right? I think it's UXC for uranium. I mean, the price is coming off. It's now $64. I mean, at 105, people are pricing it for $200, and then of course PDM went crazy, etc. But all I can say is go look at the numbers for PDN yourself, and you will be surprised at the market capitalization for PDN. MIN is just absolutely falling off a cliff. This is just disgusting. The balance point would probably be around the $20 level, just like I was talking about the $5 level on ASB. It's just a nice round number. 20 is a much nicer round number, so it wouldn't be surprising to see this bounce off 20, retest 23.50 roughly. Look, I would never recommend a long on a trade that is just puking. If anything, I'd be looking at a short once it gets to 23.50. If it gets to 23.50, a bounce and just collapse. There's other pivot points. This is probably a more significant pivot point. So, bouncing off 20, coming up to 30, that might be a stretch now that I just said out loud. But keep in mind, there are a couple of pivot points. It might not necessarily be the nearest one, because that's a very short bounce, right? So something like that, or something like that. Now you may be wondering, wow, Demo, you're just predicting all these scenarios. How are you going to possibly trade it? Well, I'm probably not. If I do, it would be most likely somewhere around here. Take a short, add on a bigger short here, and stop out here, right? That would be my trading plan. Enter, stop out. Very simple. That's just a trading idea. That's something I plan on doing should this stock bounce, and no significant changes in fundamentals, of course. So that would be a plan as well. DRO is an interesting one. This technically looks fantastic. Now, one thing I'd probably keep an eye on is if the war in Ukraine ends. I don't know if that's going to be a catalyst for this thing to sell off. But technically speaking, it looks fantastic. It's breaking to new highs, pulled back, doing a little cup, possibly a handle into next level, but fantastic. Just technically, it looks fantastic at the moment. Just the fact that it's pulled back, it's made a higher low, right? Higher low, it's made higher highs, and then of course The best part is if it breaks sort of this pivot point here, and then it'll be a dollar magnet. So I've already started buying, right? I've got a starter position. If it comes up, if it breaks, I'd be looking at closing some at $1. But ideally, I would want to see this come off a little bit, something like, you know, retest 90, come back down to 84, and then buy it here, and then hope that it swings back to the upside. If it starts coming back off, then just sell it somewhere around. It'll probably be a small loss, but that's just the idea that I have at the moment. And keep in mind, you know, if things change, that's just completely under the assumption this goes up first, then pulls back, right? It's a game of if then, and then managing risk in real time, of course. So I think that is it. Just a quick summary of a bunch of stocks that I think are worth looking at, that I'm considering to buy, and sort of the plan around it. And hopefully this new match trading stuff won't impact us too greatly. So otherwise, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.